So, Dr. Carter, you mentioned earlier a relationship between vision and learning. Can you talk more on that, please?
Sure. The visual system is made up of not just sight, as I said before, and the eyeball is not where all the action is. Really, the brain controls what the eye does. And as I mentioned before, if you have a problem with over-converging or under-converging or not focusing enough, this all affects how you take in the information and process the information. When you're trying to learn, you are trying to do a couple things. The eyes are trying to stay on task, and you're also trying to process the information that you're reading. We learn everything we do through reading about it, for the most part, right? So if you are trying to stay on task, all your concentration goes towards staying on task with your eyes. That means converging the right amount so that when you read, you don't lose your place when you read. When you read, you don't go in and out of focus. If you over-converge, every time you're reading, your eye is trying to not converge like it wants to. So your eye is trying to relax the whole time. If you're doing that, then the words will move around because you want to go here, but you're trying not to, so you relax. You want to go there, but you try not to, so you relax. So that takes you off target. So the words can move around. Or say if you're not converging enough. If your normal visual system wants to converge a certain amount, which, for example, could be behind the plane of your target that you're looking at, right? So the whole time, in order not to see double, in order to not have the words move around, your eyes have to constantly turn in. And while it's doing that, that then causes disruption because now the words are going to move because your eyes move. Or it'll go in and out of focus. So that takes away from your concentrating on what you're trying to read because the brain has to concentrate on all this other stuff. So then it affects your comprehension. It can affect speed. So a lot of times, say for example with children, they have difficulty reading and it'll have poor school performance. And a lot of times it actually is related to their eyes. But you have to get an eye exam that looks at that. You can't just get an eye exam that only looked at sight and only looked at your eye health without looking at that in between binocular vision in order to pick that kind of stuff up. So it's really, really important that the exam includes that, and it's important that whenever there is a vision-related, or is a learning problem, I should say, to make sure it's not a vision-related learning problem.
For our final question, what advice would you give to someone who was interested in pursuing a career in optometry?
Yes. I would say, firstly, when you pursue any career, really, it's best that you become familiar with what you're getting into, because what you end up doing, say, after you graduate from school, you're just doing that the rest of your life. I mean, you're day in and day out, your job can be a grind. So you have to at least enjoy it. I mean, you spend most of your time working. So how will you know if you enjoy it? You got to research it. And it's best not just to, go online, which that's definitely helpful, but also to spend time, volunteers, if you're interested, go find a practice or a hospital setting or whatever where you can volunteer, spend some time observing, getting to know the profession, and also talking to the doctors, asking, the straight questions about, the pros and cons and things like that. Not just relying on what you read off the internet or in a magazine or something like that. That's definitely a place to start. But I would say also, before you even get to this is what I want to do, you should observe a lot of different careers, and decide, okay, process of elimination, I like this, I don't like this, I'm interested in that organ of the body, it's not interesting, and then get to the point where you are now able to say, okay, yes, this is the career I want to pursue. You don't want to choose a career because someone else wants you to choose that career, and that happens sometimes, but certainly once you then make a decision, again, in undergrad, you want to spend time volunteering, but also you've got to study. And, if you're interested in pursuing that career, You have to make sure you know, keep your grades up, and, you know, pretty much, yeah, that would be it, I guess.
I see. Dr. Carter, thank you for your time, for your professional insight. And for more information, you can check us out on Facebook under Lucent Vision. Dr. Carter, thank you again.
Oh, you're welcome so very much.